With the new direct that has been announced recently, almost 2 days away from us, I think it's time we take a look at predictions for what we can see announced during this direct. It's 40 minutes, so we're probably going to have a huge amount of information dropped on us. Number one, I think we're probably going to see the rest of the fighters put on the list. And I'm not going to predict the fighters themselves, but I do want to touch on a couple of leaks that have already done so. There's the recent leak that was the Grinch leak, as so many people have called it, where they used Grinch material in portions of the office that also had promotional material for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I am team real for this leak, but I'm also team fake for this leak, and I'm there on both counts for different reasons. Not only do I think that most of this is real, it just seems a little too orchestrated. Even if it's not a real leak from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate itself, somebody did a real good job putting it together and making it seem like it was that way. Aside from that, I think the only fighter that we can be sure about 100% is Ken returning from Street Fighter as a character, or not returning from Street Fighter, coming from Street Fighter as an echo of Ryu. He was the original Echo Fighter in fighting games. He comes back as an Echo Fighter in the game where they separate them from the playable roster, and that makes it a lot easier to work with. Plus, considering how his Hadouken is slightly less powerful and his Shoryuken is a multi-hit attack, they can incorporate that into the game without changing any of the properties beyond those two moves, and it would be really, really well done. Aside from that, I think we're probably going to get an idea of whether Vergeben is right or whether the Grinch is right. If Vergeben's right, that means we get Ken and we get Incineroar and maybe a Square Enix character with some Minecraft representation. We don't know what that Minecraft representation is. It could be a trophy, it could be an assist trophy, or it could be a stage. We don't know. But I'm team fake for Vergeben. All of his have been text-based, and it's kind of lucky guesses for the most part. Everything he said so far has been either confirmed or not confirmed at all whatsoever. So I feel like Vergeben is just getting really good guesses, really good points here and there that could be either yay or nay either way. And most of the stuff that he's predicted has come out true. It's just a matter of what out of his current predictions is going to be wrong. I hope Vergeben's wrong, because Incineroar just... it's the Pokemon that he chose, of all things, to leak. That's the one thing that I'm like, no, we don't need that. Pokemon has more representation than Fire Emblem right now. And Mario has more representation than Pokemon, technically. But if we're talking about the three franchises that don't need any more newcomers, that don't need any more Echo Fighters, that don't need any more fighters at all whatsoever, the three big ones are Pokemon, Mario, and Fire Emblem. And I'm glad with the roster that we have right now. Fire Emblem's reasoning, we've got Chrom, Lucina, Roy, and Marth, all as one, technically two different slots. Ike, and Corrin, and Robin. That's 7 total characters right there. Out of all of those, 4 of them have the exact same style of moveset, and only one of them uses magic. The rest of them have swords of some type, in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a heavy sword, whether it's the same sword style as the other 3 of its kind, or whether it's a sword combined with dragon-based moves, everybody has a sword to some degree. On top of that, all of the Mario characters, I think we're down to the point where the only one Mario character that can be announced that would not feel out of left field would be Waluigi. He has been confirmed for Assist Trophy, and I don't think we're going to see any more Mario characters. And don't tell me that Paper Mario or another type of Mario is a thing, because that's just not going to work this time. I'm not going to believe Mario's coming back as another one. And Pokemon, we have the Pokemon Trainer, which is not only the trainer itself, but the 3 Pokemon that are with it. So that's 3 right there. Pikachu and Pichu, that's 5 right there. Then we've got Mewtwo and Lucario, that's 2 more right there for a total of 7. Greninja for 8. That's 8 right there. They have more representation than Fire Emblem, and people are getting a little sick of the Fire Emblem. I'm a little sick of the Pokemon as of this point, and I'm fine with what we have now. But if we get another Pokemon representative, I really don't want it to be Incineroar. Regardless, I'm getting too focused on characters. We're moving on away from that. If we get the Grinch leak, that is a roster that I am fine with. That is a roster I feel is perfect. And that is a roster I feel could go further with DLC. On top of that, the Vergibin roster, I feel it's somewhat of a fizzling out instead of a bang for the final newcomer. And understandably, that's kind of what happened with Super Smash Bros. 4 for the Wii U and 3DS. But when the 3DS revealed its entire roster, with 2 exceptions being Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt Dog, and the hidden fighters that we didn't get that were returning from the prior games, I feel as though the ones that we can expect to see here are going to end in a bang. No doubt about it. It just doesn't feel right having Incineroar at the end of the roster. If we have a Square Enix character, yeah, that makes sense. It could be Sora, it could be another... It could be Geno. Honestly, Geno sounds like a really good option there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Whichever leak is correct, as long as we have more content coming down the line after the game releases, I'm going to be fine. We'll get some DLC. That'll be awesome. Outside of that, I think I would rather prefer the Grinch leak to be possible, or Grinch leak to be confirmed, and we not get DLC, than I would the Vergibin leak and we get DLC. That's kind of my stance on it. Leaving fighters aside, I think we're gonna know if the stage count is going to stay at 103, and if we're going to get the stage builder option. We don't know if that's coming back. It's been in Smash Bros. Brawl, and it was very rudimentary in Smash Bros. Brawl. But with Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS, they only included the builder in the Wii U version. The builder was really well done for the few options it had, but that's the thing, it had limited options. You could make terrain any way you wanted, don't get me wrong, that was amazing, but it had very few options on moving platforms, on springs, cannons, and other damage-based areas. It had a total of maybe 4 types of maybe it had like 4 different things you could put out there aside from the terrain. Lava, springs, cannons, moving platforms, that's pretty much it. But Smash Bros. Brawl had so much more there. It had it had ladders that you could work with. It had spikes that you could work with. There's a lot there. And if they had a sort of culmination of the two, I feel that would make it a lot easier to work with, and not only easier to work with, but also a bit more fun to have play out in some way, shape, or form. Just try to make it a little easier to work with. I feel if we have any other stages that they're going to come as DLC, I don't think we're going to have any more stages beyond the 103 that we've already got confirmed. But if we get DLC stages, they're probably going to have a big old bar in the bottom right corner that shows DLC stages, flips over, big old DLC stages on that side. Moving on to another thing I want to talk about, the Spirits mode. We don't know what it is, and I get the feeling that they're going to talk about it in some way, shape, or form. And they're going to talk a lot about it one way or another. And I don't feel that's going to be a bad thing. I feel it's going to be pretty good. But what I don't want them to do is to just throw it out there and not have enough panache with it, or get our expectations too high and it just flunks, like Smash Tour did, essentially. I don't want this to be another Smash Tour recreation. I don't want that mode to be Smash Run, but I would like Smash Run returning. And I want this to be something unique. Something like Adventure Mode in Melee or Subspace Emissary in Brawl, where they were standalone modes that were fun to play and fun to do in co-op. I gotta say that these modes were something along the lines of iconic for these games. If this mode is going to be what defines Smash Ultimate from a gameplay perspective, outside of Games & More and the standard Smash mode, it has to be amazing. It cannot be Smash Tour. It cannot be... it can't be Smash Run either. It has to be something that is both unique to the game and fun to play. Moving on away from that, I do want to go over to Games & More. I don't want Games & More to just be the classic mode and the all-star mode. We haven't heard about if all-star mode is coming back, which I highly doubt they're going to cut all-star mode. I really want all-star mode to come back. I want them to talk about what modes are going to be in Games and More, because we know none of them. Master Orders and Crazy Orders were great on the Wii U. That would be excellent to bring back. That would be a pretty easy change of pace. You're fighting certain fighters under certain conditions in Crazy Orders, and you're fighting them sequentially to build up a big old reward. Or you go over to the Master Hand challenges, completing them under certain tasks, and there's specific challenges, and you'll get rewarded if you complete each one. I would like that kind of spin brought back into the new game, one way or another. I want that. I want them to tell us what's over in Games and More. Another thing that we don't know about that I think they're going to at least cover a bit of is the online mode. The online mode, if you don't know, back in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS, they didn't detail very much in Super Smash Bros. 3DS. They said, hey, you get for fun or for glory. You can play with items and all the stage hazards and everything, or you can play flat, Final Destination, no items, just you and an opponent, or just you and 3 other guys, or just you and your friend and 2 other people. That's pretty much what For Fun and For Glory were online. Beyond that, with friends, you could make anything at all whatsoever. Tourney mode is added to the Wii U version, and I want them to detail at least what all is a part of the online mode, because I'm not very optimistic about the online so far with Nintendo Switch Online. If they get this up and running and it's good and it's awesome, outstanding, amazing, whatever adjective you want here, I want it to be something that I can go to on a daily basis, be like, I feel like playing online and having my butt handed to me. I'm going online, I'm going to this mode, I'm gonna try it out for 2, maybe 3 matches, be fine, whatever. Or I wonder what tournaments are going. Or I wonder if somebody wants to kick me in Smashdown with my friends or whatever. I want Special Smash to be online as well with friends. That'd be something interesting. I think with all of this, I'm just rambling, but I want to get my thoughts out there because these are just predictions on what I think they'll talk about. On top of this, we're gonna get into some pretty specific stuff going down the road with what we can see, what we can't see. I want them to detail more music. I want them to get more music out on the website. I want them to get an idea of, okay, here's this set of music. I want to know how many Xenoblade Chronicles songs there are going to be, because we know nothing beyond the 8 that are returned, because beyond the few that are returning. I believe there were 7 or 8 that were in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and only 3 in the 3DS. And in the 3DS version, those carried over into the Wii U version. Easy peasy. But so far, we only know we only know that Gower Plains is returning. I want all songs returning from Xenoblade Chronicles that were in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I'd like to see something from X or 2 added to the game. And understandably, yeah, I'm a bit of a Xenoblade fanatic, and more so in the later games of the franchise than I am the original game in the franchise, but I want more representation out of the series as a whole. Whether it's a fighter, music, stage, whatever, I want Xenoblade to be a part of this a lot more than it already is. It is 1 character, 1 assist trophy, 1 Final Smash with 3 backup helpers, 1 stage, and 8 songs. That's all it was. Final Fantasy got the short end of the... Final Fantasy at this point has the shortest end of the stick, with just 1 fighter, 2 songs, and a stage. That's it. That's all they have for Final Fantasy. For Bayonetta, 1 stage, now that's technically all you need. But I want to see more with that. Like, okay, Bayonetta had 13 songs confirmed for the new game. Castlevania, you have 2 fighters. Granted, one of them's an echo of the first one, but that point is null and void at this point. But it's got 2 roster characters, albeit stacked, 34 songs, boss hazards. It's got a boss in the game that is separate from the stage. It's got the stage. They gave Castlevania a lot of representation, and they gave it an assist trophy. I forgot to mention that. And Bayonetta has an assist trophy as well. Third party, I feel, with Platinum Games and with Konami, have been really, really good. We got 2 assist trophies from Konami because we've got 2 franchises there. Really good, well done. We technically also have Bomberman as a third franchise representative. But that's, like, separated from the rest of it. We've got a lot of stuff here that we don't know about fighter-wise or song-wise. These kind of different things. I want more representation of these franchises. I know we're getting 6 new songs for Sonic because I looked it up. I brought it to the attention that they are bringing in new music. They've got over 800 tracks. I want one of those to be What I'm Made Of, Shadow's theme, All Hail Shadow, or something from that era that is part of the part of the more pumped up side. Because, quite frankly, the only song that I enjoy from the Sonic franchise right now that is in any of the stages is Live and Learn. That's the only one I enjoy from the Sonic franchise that is currently in Smash Brothers. Every other song... Okay, scratch that. Live and Learn and Open Your Heart. Those are the only 2. Every other song, I feel, is not indicative of the franchise. It is indicative of the games themselves, but not the franchise. The franchise is all about going fast and getting through the level and having a fun time with some upbeat jams. That's what Live and Learn and Open Your Heart are all about. But they're also boss fights. They're also high-intense octane action. Reach for the Stars, yeah, high beat, but it's a funsy attitude. It's not a high-octane beat. It's not a high-octane tune. That's not something I want to smash to, if you will. Regardless, I'm going too far into this. I need to dig myself back out of this rabbit hole. What we need is more representation, and I feel like this is going to be our final chance to see that representation before the game comes out. We're going to get the final fighters available for this game absolutely revealed here. Sakurai said so himself, but I feel like we're going to get a couple of other things added as well. There are a couple of videos that I had planned in the works, including a boss battles video, but I feel like unless we get an idea of what Spirits Mode is going to be, and excuse me, I will have to revise that video entirely, because we're going to get Spirits Mode revealed. And the bosses that I've selected are kind of null and void at this point, because we're probably going to see maybe 1 or 2 bosses. We're probably going to see what the entire Spirits Mode is all about, and if it is how you unlock these fighters, we're going to know it at that point. And I want it to be more than just, oh, it's a story mode with this and that, and I want it to be something unique, and I want it to be something amazing, and I want it to be more than just everyone is here fighting multiplayer. I want it to be everyone is here all together, they're having an adventure, they're doing this, they're doing that, they are interacting with each other more so than just, hey, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. Boom. Man, I'm going too long on this rant. Anyway, dropping all of that aside, there's one more request I have for this game before anything else. And before I decide to make other videos on Smash, I want to know one main thing. Aside from the roster, aside from the stages, and aside from Spirits Mode, I want to know one main thing, and one main thing only. And that is, if we are getting DLC, how are they going to release it? And this is why I bring this up, because the way they've released DLC in Smash Bros., Wii U, and 3DS, they released it 1 fighter and a bunch of Mii costumes. 3 fighters, a bunch of Mii costumes. 1 fighter, a few Mii costumes. 2 fighters, and a set of Mii costumes. And there were a few stages sprinkled out through there, but you could buy them all separately, you could buy them together in bundles. The main problem that I have with this whole DLC bit is that it was really pricey to get 1 fighter and 1 stage. Bayonetta was... whoa. Like, I bought it, yes, but for DLC, I don't feel I got my money's worth. And I feel like I got my money's worth out of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC. I feel like I got my money's worth out of the BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle DLC. Albeit, I got like half the roster through DLC. Still, the half of the roster I got through DLC only costed me $20 to do. For Xenoblade Chronicles, $30. It gave me a new story mode. It gave me a new set of challenges. It gave me 3 blades, 4 technically, that I can use on any character. And then it gave me 2 others that I awaken and use as I see fit, along with a ton of quests and a ton of extra items that I can use at my disposal. And when the updates for them rolled out, they gave us New Game Plus, along with a ton of other blades. I want to see Smash do something along the lines of what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did, combined with what BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle did. They introduced a slew of a set of fighters, if you will. Not necessarily themed, but I want Smash to do it themed, where every fighter that you buy is themed one way or every set you buy is themed one way or another. For example, a Xenoblade Chronicles pack, where you get Elma, Rex, Adam as an echo of Rex, and Malos as an echo of Shulk. I'm throwing that out there for the sake of it being out there, and just you guys can eat it alive. I believe there was a YouTuber who did that, who did analysis on that. I'm not going to go into it. We could get a third party pack where you get or not a third party pack, excuse me. We get a Bandai Namco pack where we get Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. We get Miss Pac-Man as an echo for Pac-Man. And we could probably get one more Bandai Namco fighter. Heihachi from Tekken. We get a Capcom one, where we could get all of these different add-ons for DLC, and I want it to be pack-based in that sense. We could get a Microsoft-based pack where you get Steve as a fighter, you get Banjo and Kazooie as a fighter, and you get Alex as an alternate costume for Steve. You get gosh. I want to say you get Master Chief, but I highly doubt that 343 is going to allow that. You get all of these characters as bonuses for getting this pack based on a series that you enjoy. And I'd want it to be something along those lines. You pay for what you want to pay for in this case. I want it to be more along the lines of that than I do anything else. Beyond that, that's what I'm asking for, is that Nintendo does their work in the DLC department, and that we get more than what we're asking for, essentially, and we pay what we would like to pay, compared to the prior game where it was like, hey, you're paying $5 for one character, when you had a game sell for $60, and you had almost 50 fighters there, where it was roughly $1.50 $1.25 a fighter, essentially. Yeah, that's about all I'm gonna say at this point. Look, thank you for listening to me ramble. I know I didn't do an intro, but I'm gonna do an outro. Thank you all for watching. My name is N-Sight. Thank you for watching N-Sight Games. If you like, you can click like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I don't care. I am just here. But I make videos for myself later on in life. And that's essentially what I do on this channel. I want to be able to go back and review these games when I'm playing them years later, decades later, and be able to tell myself these things back currently, the different ins and outs of different games. For example, Fire Emblem Awakening, I'm doing a full walkthrough. Yet today, actually, we just released the final episode for our audio hiccup segment. I'm so sorry for that. But we've gotten through most of the children characters. Next week will be our final one with Na, and the week following we'll be continuing with Chapter 15. For Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I've done an entire walkthrough at this point. I am going back to do the side quests later on in Chapter 8, But right now, we are in Chapter 5, heading towards the... Or, excuse me, we're in Chapter 6, heading towards the end of it. And once we get through Chapter 7 and into 8, we'll be in spoiler territory from there on out. I just did a video on the challenge modes that'll be up on Friday. So if you want, you can check the playlist for that in the description below. Regardless, thank you all for tuning back in. My name is N-Sight. I'll see you guys in the next episode, if there is one. And I'll probably post my reaction for the whole thing when this is all said and done. Thank you, and goodbye.